Hello once again, Star Wars and unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darthtuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darthtuba. Check me out on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter with all the Darthtuba names, and email me darthtuba77@gmail.com. And as you can see, I'm in 40th anniversary heaven. I stumbled into these figures all in one Walmart out of nowhere, wasn't expecting them, and I was pretty excited to see this. This pretty much completes the 40th anniversary collection for me. I will say that I was able to find the carded versions of all Wave 1 and Wave 2. Except for one, R2-D2, which I know is the coveted one. I'm not worried about it. I have seen it go for 2 to 3, 4 times the amount on eBay, so I'm not biting it. I already have a Black Series R2-D2 from a previous one. It's virtually the same. So as I've mentioned in the past, since I'm unboxing most of them anyway, I don't really mind if I don't have every single one of them. However, I will say that when it comes to this particular line, and anything involving the racing stripe, which is the original vintage design, the Star Wars logo on the top, and the stripe going around, okay, which is what originally the figures were packaged in 1978, 9, 80, 81, 82, 83, and I think 84. Okay, those are items that I sometimes will pick and choose. I will unbox some of them and leave some of them in the box. So some of my fans that would wish that I leave everything in the box, you know who you are, Sith Rich, at Sith Rich Darthtuba, Skywalking Through Neverland. Shameless plug. Watch that or listen to that podcast and watch their YouTube channel as well. They get some great Star Wars and Disney items that they like to talk about, and they do some awesome things. But Richard Wolowski is who's kind of the producer and one half of the host of that show, doesn't like to open anything up, likes to leave everything in the box. So we have a playful disagreement on that. But in some cases, I am totally on Rich's side with that, and such is the case with the Black Series 40th Anniversary Collection figures that I don't already have, okay? Or that I do already have, excuse me. So some of these figures we're going to leave in the box and display them proudly in that way. Others, sorry, we are opening them up. And I do know that for some people, since this has just been announced, Hasbro announced that they will no longer be sending out any more of these to retailers. That does mean that they're a little more rare, and they will probably go up in price. And unfortunately, my unboxing them will devalue them. But I stick to my mantra. These toys, I believe, are meant to be taken out of their package, which we'll do with some of them. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. All right, so while we're on that subject, though, I do want to go off on a mini rant, which I don't normally do. I'm generally a very positive person. But I do have to say, in my travels the last couple of weeks, I've found that Hasbro is the one area of the Disney, Star Wars, Lucasfilm licensing that really has fallen off. I've tried to be more positive. I tried to be that voice of reason, when other people have been really, people who are putting a lot more energy and effort into the research of packaging and distribution and how many, things are being shipped out to the big box retailers versus the small stores. They have a lot of data, and they have been talking about it for months or even years, that the whole distribution setup and the decisions that Hasbro is making in corporate are affecting us as collectors to a not so good place. I will say that I recall from several years ago, shortly after the Disney acquisition of Lucasfilm and the Star Wars brand, that Disney had some licensing experts that had a press conference and made a statement, something along the lines of, "Well, we've analyzed the Lucasfilm model for licensing their product, and we don't really believe it's nearly aggressive enough." So I think some people, some collectors might have mistook that and thought that meant, oh, okay, this means that we're going to get like 10 times the amount of figures we've been getting, and it's going to just be crazy, and we're going to have to pick and choose because we're not going to have enough money to buy it all. Well, where I think people might have misunderstood the Disney licensing people is that I think that Disney was planning on, and I'm not saying that I knew this like ahead of time. I didn't. I am not a business person. I am not an analyst of any kind. But looking back in hindsight, it makes sense that they want to market the Star Wars brand to as many different age people as possible. They're going to spread it among infants, children, older children, middle school children, teenagers, young adults, and adults. Okay? And they have always, and Hasbro has always tried to follow that to some degree, with the main part of the toy market being for kids. And I think that Disney's really just doing that, but doing that on a far greater scale. That's why we have all these other brands of toys, all these other types of toys for little kids and for younger kids and whatnot. And there's a new, Forces of Destiny, which are going to be geared definitely more for girls. As a collector, I think what they're coming out with is pretty cool. Those larger size figures, some would call them dolls. I'll call them action figures. I'm looking forward to collecting them. I'm hoping that they're mass-produced enough that I will be able to get them in the stores. And I also have to give kudos to Disney in the parks and in a Disney store. The Elite series and other things like that and Tsum Tsums and all sorts of different things have, expanded the amount of product that collectors can pick and choose and decide what they want to get and not get. I've been very happy with the Elite series. So, you think, okay, they're not giving us much in the terms of the old-fashioned model of going into the toy store, looking in the toy aisle, and seeing that the Star Wars brand is not much there. Or either it's not much there, or when you look at it, the entire aisle is Star Wars, but there are lightsabers, there are yo-yos, there are portable Bluetooth speakers, there are masks, there are costumes, there are everything under the sun, and there's a couple of figures. Okay, so I just think that they're trying to spread it. I don't believe they're marketing to collectors, and I think other collectors know this. I think that they're marketing to kids and parents who want to buy something for their kids, and that's just the way it is. They do market to collectors in other ways. Things like companies like Sideshow, Gentle Giant, Kotobukiya, Hot Toys. They all have higher end collecting figures and action figures and statues and things of that nature. They are more expensive. So we as collectors have to pick and choose. We're all on limited incomes, most of us, and we have to pick and choose. So it's frustrating as a collector. I do understand it, however. I know, enough. Well, didn't go to school for business, and my family owns a business. I know that business is, you have a model that you're using to make the most money, and I get that. And sometimes catering to very niche ideas and specific things that collectors would like doesn't always happen. I did like this. The return of the racing stripe for the 40th anniversary. I'm glad we had it at least a little bit. Some were disappointed it didn't come out of 3 3/4 inch. Whether that happens at any point, who knows? But I'm happy we got it here. So, thank you for my rant. It really wasn't a rant. It was more just of a kind of sharing my opinion. But anyway, so we have 2 figures here that we are not going to open up. So my comrade, Mr. Rich Woloski, will be happy. Chewbacca and the Stormtrooper will remain on their cards, okay? And to give you a little thing, I've done some we've done some openings of the previous cards, but they're really great. There's a great throwback to the original 12 backs that you saw, and just happy to see them kind of return to that. I thought it was a great way to celebrate the 40th anniversary. Another thing that, before we go on to the opening, the other thing that I also thought of that a lot of people seem sometimes forget is that there are new movies now. I mean, Hasbro has not had a new movie since 2005. From 2005 to 2012, that's 7 years that they kept the Star Wars brand going with nothing but the Clone Wars cartoon series. And I thought they offered a lot. Some people complain that they only offered Clone Wars stuff and they wanted to have more realistic looking figures. I'm like, folks, they're catering to kids. So I get that. But now with new movies, we have a Force Friday 2 years running, and we're going to have another one this coming year. And there were issues there where there wasn't enough product to satisfy all the people that went out, and it took a while for that product to come in. I agree that that's something I wish Hasbro would think about and do better. I know they don't want to get burned in the like they did in 1999 with the whole episode 1, over saturation of merchandise, but I think there could be something in between. But I digress. Again, sorry. So we have 3 here. We have C-3PO. We have the Death Squad Commander, which I love. I think that's an awesome name. Totally different from the figure that we got in the original 1978, but still pretty cool. And we have a Jawa. So we're going to let's start with the C-3PO. Now, while I did say I'm going to unbox these, I do want to try to be a little more careful with the boxes themselves, because I do like these boxes, and I want to try my best to keep them at least somewhat. And obviously, I'm no fool. I'm aware that it's going to eventually rip off anyway. But I just want to try to get as little. All right, come on. One of the things I try to do when I'm opening up the figure is score it right where the plastic meets the cardboard, and that can do a good job of opening it up. Now, unfortunately down here these guys have a little tab that I learned kind of goes underneath. But if you do that and you just and then you got to do a little bit of there's a couple of things you can do. See, unlike the other Black Series black boxes, these are unfortunately see, so I did a pretty good job. I mean, it's got a little bit of stuff there, but the cards are kind of cool, and we might find a use for them in a display method. But unfortunately now, unlike the other Black Series, I don't have the ability to put these into boxes. So we have C-3PO with his typical articulation, with his arms kind of standing still. The elbow joints do not move. I'm pretty much good with that. I love the silver leg. Always thought that told a great story. So awesome job on that one. Really nice. Okay, then we have the Jawa. Houtini. Again, if you score around, you stand a better chance of, and one thing I forgot to do last time is I forgot to score around this corner. But just an idea. And again, I don't know if I'll do anything with these. I have to look, and I have from the old days, from the original. I think I still have a lot of my carded cards themselves. But some people would argue, oh, you can hold it under steam, and you can, the glue will come off. I'm like, guys, I'm not going to take that much time to do this. That's a little bit over the top. All right. So what's nice is that okay, pretty good. I think I did a thing where I actually, people are going to think I'm sacrilegious. I actually cut up some and made them almost like a, I would say like a collage, so to speak, which I thought was kind of a cool one. All right, now this guy comes with 2. He has this one that looks like you can. I'm not exactly sure. You're supposed to stick it up like that. It almost seems like it might work that way. And then he has the second gun. I don't remember him having 2 guns, but it's okay. But again, like I mentioned in one of the last episodes, they have fingers that that kind of close up, and once you've placed the figure in there, you can kind kind of leave the weapon in there. Death Squad Commander. Can't believe that they put out a figure in the 1970s that basically was the title of the figure was Death. That to me seems like something very, very, very unlikely in the 70s. But then again, what do I know? Come on. Of the 12 that came out originally, the Death Squad Commander was the one figure that looked nothing like the original one they were going after. Other than the fact, no, what I think it was, it had that olive color uniform, which I think, obviously that was a, looking like Tarkin and some of the other generals. Well, this one wasn't as good of a thing, but still. This guy's more accurate. I mean, I appreciate the need. I always wondered about the samurai-looking helmets. Like, both the Rebels had them on the blockade runner, something similar, and then the Death Troopers. I never quite understood it. I guess it was a Japanese influence, and I understand that. But it just, otherwise, it was always one of those kind of mysteries. I'm not going to have him hold his weapon, because he's generally one that's by the console. Okay, he's generally one that's, commencing primary ignition or one of those things. All right, and that will do it for our partial unboxing. Sometimes we do that. And at the end, when you see pictures, I'll do individual shots, as well as I will add these 3 to the collection. It is a complete collection. There is one figure missing, and that is the Princess Leia figure. And the only reason the Princess Leia figure is missing is because I don't have the heart to open that one up, partially because of Carrie Fisher, the loss of Carrie Fisher. I don't know. There's just something about it. Out of respect, I'm just leaving it boxed for right now. However, if I stumble across a loose one at one point or another, I will get it and put it to the collection. Or if they come out with a reincarnation of the Princess Leia from Star Wars: A New Hope, maybe I'll get that one and open that one up. But for the 40th anniversary, this is where we're going to leave. This is where we will leave it. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Check in my other channels. Oh, I do have one announcement. I am very excited to announce that very shortly we will be, and in fact, it might actually come. You might stumble across this before this video airs, so it might seem out of joint. But my wife Cindy, and we're still trying to come up with a name for her. I'm Darthtuba, and she wants a Star Wars name that's kind of something unique to her. So we're working on that. But she might be popping in from time to time to do some unboxings with me. And but in addition to that, we are actually planning to start a separate channel. And it's going to be a channel dealing with Disney. Specifically, it'll be a travel vlog. We have been watching quite a few of them. And we do travel to Disney at least twice a year. And we feel like that this is something that we know a lot about, and we would like to share what we do, not only for anybody who would like to watch it, but just for our own, archival use, to be able to. It's a new way to archive our vacations. So we're going to do that. Give out daily vlogs, talking about what we did, where we went, the kind of things we were doing. And it's going to be called, well, I'm not going to say what it's called yet, but I will include, once I have it up, I will include information about it on this channel and links to it for anybody interested. And if you're not into Disney, but you know other people that are, you can let them know once it gets dropped. Okay, so we'll be doing that fairly soon. Should be expecting it in a few weeks. Okay, so again, thank you very much for watching, and may the Force be with you.